There is a reason people still anger you, even after all your growth. It is not weakness, sensitivity, or lack of discipline. It is one misunderstanding about control. Until this is corrected, peace will always feel temporary. Today you will learn 7 timeless lessons that dissolve anger at its source, not by suppressing emotion or avoiding people, but by understanding how your mind creates disturbance. Once this becomes clear, nothing external will dominate your inner state again. Lesson 1. Emotional reactivity is a silent transfer of power. Every time someone alters your mood without your consent, you unknowingly hand them control over your inner state, allowing external behavior to dictate how you feel internally. A careless remark can linger in your thoughts for hours. A stranger's impatience can disrupt your peace, and a minor inconvenience can dominate your emotional energy for an entire day. Marcus Aurelius warned that peace disappears the moment we allow anything outside our control to rule our inner world, because true strength is measured by how little external chaos disturbs internal order. Emotionally disciplined people are not immune to difficulty, but they are highly selective about what receives their attention and emotional investment. Think of your attention as a form of currency that becomes more valuable the less freely you give it away. Not every person deserves access to your emotional space, and not every situation deserves your inner reaction. So when irritation appears, ask yourself whether this moment deserves authority over your peace. And if the answer is no, consciously withdraw your attention and redirect it toward what truly matters. Lesson 2. Anger is created by meaning, not by events. Most people believe anger is caused directly by what happens to them, whether it is a disrespectful comment, an unexpected obstacle, or someone failing to meet their expectations. This belief quietly removes their ability to remain calm. 2 people can experience the same situation at the same moment, or face the same setback, and still walk away feeling completely different emotions, which reveals that the event itself is never the true source of anger. The Stoics understood that the mind stands between events and emotions, acting as an interpreter that decides what something means before the body reacts. Epictetus explained that people are disturbed not by things themselves, but by the judgments they form, which means anger begins as a thought long before it feels like an emotion. Imagine being criticized publicly. One person interprets it as humiliation and feels rage, while another sees feedback and feels nothing but curiosity. The external reality remains identical, but the internal story determines the emotional outcome. So when anger begins to rise, slow the moment down enough to identify the meaning you assign to the situation, because once the interpretation changes, the emotional response will inevitably soften. Lesson 3. Expectations quietly manufacture frustration. Anger often grows from expectations that remain unspoken and unexamined, especially the belief that people should behave more reasonably or thoughtfully than they often do. When reality fails to meet these expectations, frustration emerges instantly, not because something terrible occurred, but because the mind demanded a different outcome. The Stoics trained themselves to expect human behavior exactly as it is, understanding that people act according to their awareness and self-interest, rather than according to our personal standards. This mindset was not pessimistic but freeing, because it removed constant disappointment from daily life. Getting angry at human flaws is no different than resenting the ocean for producing waves, or the sun for setting each evening. Reality follows its nature, not our preferences. So reduce your expectations of how others should behave while strengthening expectations of how calmly and deliberately you will respond. Lesson 4. Most offense is an ego injury, not real harm. Anger often feels intense because it threatens identity rather than safety, attacking pride, self-image, or the desire to be respected and validated. Being ignored can feel painful because importance feels questioned, and being contradicted can feel insulting because certainty feels threatened. The Stoics learned to reduce the ego's influence by separating actual harm from perceived insult, recognizing that most emotional injuries leave no real damage behind. When ego no longer demands constant validation, insults lose their ability to provoke. When you feel offended, ask whether your well-being was truly harmed or whether only your pride was challenged, and respond only when genuine harm exists. Lesson 5. Detachment is the ability to care without being controlled. Detachment is often misunderstood as emotional coldness, yet true detachment allows deep care without emotional entanglement or loss of control. It creates space between stimulus and response, allowing wisdom to guide action instead of impulse. When you detach, you still feel emotion, but you no longer identify with it or obey it automatically. You become the observer rather than the prisoner of your reactions. Imagine watching clouds pass across the sky. They move freely, change shape while the sky itself remains untouched and stable. Your mind can function the same way when detachment is practiced consistently. So when strong emotion arises, imagine stepping back mentally and observing it as a temporary experience rather than an order that must be followed. Lesson 6. Peace exists only where control exists. Much of human suffering comes from resisting what cannot be controlled while neglecting what can. You do not control opinions, outcomes, or how others behave. Yet you always control your judgments, actions, and character. The Stoics placed all emotional energy within this boundary, knowing that peace grows where responsibility is accepted and fades where control is imagined. Every moment spent fighting reality increases frustration, while every moment spent aligning with it builds strength. When frustration appears, clearly identify what remains within your control and act there with focus while releasing everything else without resistance. Lesson 7. Calm is a skill strengthened through practice. Calmness is not a personality trait reserved for a lucky few, but a skill developed through repeated moments of restraint and conscious response. Each time you pause instead of reacting, you strengthen the neural habit of composure. Over time, emotional control becomes natural rather than forced, as understanding replaces impulse. Like physical training, emotional mastery responds to consistency rather than intensity. Treat emotional regulation as daily practice, knowing that small moments of restraint accumulate into lasting inner strength. If anger still controls you, it does not mean failure. It means you were never taught how power truly works. You have been reacting instead of choosing. You have been fighting instead of understanding. Imagine living without emotional turbulence, without surrendering peace to external noise. This mastery is possible, and it begins with awareness. Today you learned that anger is interpretation. Expectation creates suffering. Ego demands validation. And calm is a discipline you can train. Reflect honestly on where this applies in your life. Share your insight in the comments. Like the video, share it with someone who needs peace, and subscribe for more timeless wisdom. Remember, true freedom begins the moment nothing outside you controls what happens within.